Being a home brewer has not only allowed me to drink a lot of pretty good beer, if I do say so myself, it has, I suppose, become something of a part of my identity because I've been doing it for most of my life.
When I first met Steve in 1995, he'd already been brewing for about 15 years.
I tend to favor the products of the region I live in. The water that comes out of the tap here in the Portland area is very low in minerals. This region is famous for growing hops. The malted barley that I use is almost all from the Pacific Northwest. There's a strong local influence in what I'm doing.
Steve moved a couple of years ago and has built a new brewery.
Home brewing is something you can do even in an apartment. I have a small brewery, a nano brewery that is located at the east end of my garage.
Here's how he does it. Steve starts by measuring out the grain he's using today. The grain is malted barley. This is what it looks like. He's also heating some water to about 165 degrees. Malted means that the barley has been germinated and sprouted, then heated and dried. Steve grinds the grain.
Early on, it was a bunch of stuff that I would get out and put in my kitchen or my basement on top of the washing machine, perhaps.
The crushed grain goes into the hot water and steeps. Natural enzymes in the grain convert starches into sugars, which dissolve into the water. The water containing the sugars is called wort. The sweet wort is drained into a kettle where it's boiled. Hops are added during the boil, giving bitterness and aroma to the wort. Boiling also cooks and sanitizes the wort.
In 1978, in the very town I lived in, there was a brew pub called The Brewery. And they made beer, they served beer that was made elsewhere, they had live jazz. All of these things were tremendously appealing to me.
The wort is cooled below 70 degrees, and the yeast is added. This is when fermentation begins, the process of yeast converting the sugars into alcohol and CO2. It's becoming beer.
About 1980 or 81, I made my first batches of beer. In short order, I was making beer that I liked to drink. That was very satisfying. I feel a sense of accomplishment and satisfaction that I have this set of skills that has a tangible result that people can appreciate.
Steve keeps the fermenter at a steady temperature for a couple of weeks of fermentation.
I love the challenge of looking for ways to improve. I love the mystery of not knowing exactly how something is going to turn out.
Finally, It's beer. Steve will put it in bottles or in a keg.
And now it's cleanup time. It's satisfying to do something and have a good result at the end, something I can enjoy, something I can share with others.
Does good beer make you more attractive to others?
I can't really say that home brewing has made me friends, but it's pretty obvious that if you make beer, you can impress your friends and neighbors, or in any event, offer them something pleasing. There's some pride and potentially some wounded pride if someone doesn't like what I've made, but I can always chalk that up to individual taste. It's satisfying to do something and have a good result at the end, something I can enjoy, something I can share with others.
So, what does it take to drink 20 gallons of beer? What do you have to do?
Well, you have to lift your glass repeatedly and you should take frequent breaks.